Hello YouTube, this is my update to my 28-gallon LED nano cube. This is week 1 into the cycle process. Everything is going good so far. We had a minor setback, and that was there was a hitchhiker on board that was a nefarious snail, which is no big deal. You can kind of, if I can focus in, there we go. You can kind of see that one crawling around. Now the hitchhiker that I had, it was right when the blooms started taking place, and I noticed him crawling across the sand bed. And I called up my store, my supplier, and said, hey, I got this guy crawling across the sand bed, and I just had my water levels checked on Saturday. Now mind you, that was day 3 into the process, and at that time water levels were exactly where they wanted to be. Which one thing that I failed to mention is they're going to check for your nitrate levels, they're going to check for your nitrite levels, they're going to check your pH. They also check the salinity of the water. So everything is rocking and rolling and going like it's supposed to be in this process. The problem is, guys, and the mistake that was made, and the owner of the store was not there, so we kind of had an inexperienced employee at the store, that when I brought my water up there for a second time, when I found the hitchhiker crawling across the sand bed, because my thought process was, if he's rocking and rolling and crawling along doing what he's supposed to do, can I get my cleanup crew? Okay, the answer to that is no. You cannot. Let your tank cycle through the process. I jumped the gun. Well, I jumped the gun because I sought professional advice and I was misinformed. So I got a cleanup crew. You can see here there is a turbo snail. There are some 3 hermit crabs, but they're kind of locked up in there right now. And then I got a couple of nefarious snails. And then I had, and I say I had, an emerald crab. There is another one of the turbo snails right there. Now I feel very horrible for these guys right now. Guys, the water levels right now, everything is very high. You can say a prayer for my cleanup crew and see if they will make it through this process. And I want to say, first and foremost, I apologize. I wish I could get him out of there. But the owner, who, when my emerald crab, by the way, which died in 1 day in this tank, imagine that. They think, here's what the owner said. He suspected that when the water was tested just a few days ago, that it hadn't reached its peak yet on all the levels, because everything in this tank is going to spike as the process goes through the cycle process, and we hadn't reached that peak yet. So when I went in there with the question of, hey, can I get my cleanup crew, and there was the nefarious snail that had hiked along with the rock. The reason why he was able to survive is because he started out this whole cycle process. So he acclimated to the water as it was going through its cycle. Mind you, we are still only in week 1 of the cycle. Now everything's going good. I jumped the gun, got a little bit of misinformation from an employee at a store, and well, I mean, the end product is, you see I have a cleanup crew in there, and they're probably absolutely miserable right now. Now you might say, well, pull them out, get them out of there. The problem is now they're becoming acclimated to this water. If we pull them out of this water and put them back into say a regular tank, you do that many quick back and forth, hey, you're in here, hey, you're out of here, it'll actually do more harm than good. So the best thing that I was told to do is just leave them in there, and excuse me, hopefully they will make it through this process. So that's lessons learned right there, guys. A beginner mistake right there, right off the bat. Don't jump the gun, because I guarantee you will be just like me. You will be so ready to put things in here, and it is a pain in the butt to wait for the cycle process, but you have got to do it. Even if you see things in your tank, like let's say you go and you get some live rock and you're starting to go through the cycle process and you start to see things crawling around that you didn't think were in there, and you're like, well, hey, those guys are alive and they're making it through the process. I can add stuff in there. No, don't. Because it's like I said, and your water is constantly changing. So now, in the process of the cycle, everything is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. My levels are getting to the point where they are spiking. Everything is getting high. Now, I made a statement earlier where you want all your levels down to 0 when you start adding things back into the tank, or when you start putting things into the tank. I was wrong on one aspect, and that was the pH. Obviously, you don't want your pH at 0. Your pH level should be at about 8. Somewhere fall in there between like 7.8 to like 8.1 is usually a good pH level. And your salinity, if it's a reef tank, I think it's like 1.02 to like 1.026. You can find out that exact information online. There's a lot of forums. So this is what's going on with the tank so far. Everything looks great. I mean, it's supposed to be doing exactly what it's supposed to be. It's just I jumped the gun a little bit on the cleanup crew. And the guys, they're hanging in there. So hopefully they'll make it through this process. So from a beginner standpoint, that is definitely some do's and don'ts. Mainly don'ts. So thanks for watching. I got a few viewers, so maybe I can pick up my views, and this will help for future cubers, or anybody that's wanting to get into the saltwater hobby. So the lesson of today is don't jump the gun. Thanks for watching, guys, and rate it, leave your comments, advice, and thanks for watching. Have a good day.